Hi again, guys. Welcome to or welcome back to Cooking with Pouncy. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel, Cooking with Pouncy. If you like what you see, guys, please hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate that if you have a mind to do so. And let me know what you think as well, and pass this on as you see fit. Tonight we are going to prepare, let's call it steak and peppers, or peppers and steak, or pepper steak maybe. And for dinner tonight, it's a very simple dish. And as I try to make all my dishes simple to make. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to drop the camera down a little bit here. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. And we're going to get the show on the road and get this pepper steak or steak with peppers done here for you in just a minute. Here we go. Here's our ingredients for this steak and peppers, or peppers and steak. I got my onions. I've got my green peppers, of course, and some red bell peppers as well. I got those diced a little smaller. I didn't want them to dominate the dish here with their color and all that stuff, and they're kind of sweet. But anyway, I've got a half of a red pepper, and I've got a full green pepper, or whole green pepper, medium, if you will, and a medium onion as well. All right, so that's already diced up, and they're all about an inch. You can dice them however you want, if and when you decide to make yours. Okay, so that's that. And I'm going to have some kitchen bouquet for my gravy to darken it for color. I've got some Worcestershire sauce. I'm going to put just a dash in there. This will all be the ingredient list for you too, guys. This is real simple. I'm going to go fast with you here. Obviously, I've got some flour. This happens to be all-purpose flour here for my gravy. As I put that together, I've got some salt, regular salt. You can use whatever salt you desire as well. Kosher salt or sea salt, whatever. This is iodized regular salt. I've got some coarse ground black pepper. So we're talking salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic salt to taste. And I'm going to be sprinkling a little bit of that on there too. And then when I braise my meat off, and I'm going to show you how I dice that up, I'm going to be using some regular cooking oil. This is vegetable oil. You can certainly use canola if you want, or olive oil or whatever, okay? This is just regular vegetable oil. I'll be using about 4, maybe 5 tablespoons of that, making sure I've got enough with that mixed with my flour in order to get my gravy, all right? And then I've got a flank steak here. I don't want to touch that because I just touched this and I want to get my gloves on, okay? But I got a flank steak, and I'll have it on the board here in just a minute for you. And I'm going to dice that up for the meat portion. And you can use whatever meat you want, steak meat you want. Make it a good quality meat, though. You don't want something you can't chew. And it won't take that long for this meal. It's probably going to take me about 45 minutes total to get this meal done, almost in real time for you guys, okay? I've already prepared my rice. I'm going to get this meat cut up. And I'll be showing you that here on camera as we do that process, okay? Again, you can use any meat you want. I happen to get flank steak for this dish, and that's what I'm going to be using for the meat, okay, guys? So again, thanking you guys so much for tuning in, and please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate that, guys. I'm serious. I'm real serious. All right, so here's our flank steak. And again, this is 1.5 pounds. Got a little fat cover, as you can see right here already. All right, we're going to put that there. Guess what? I got to take my glove off because I just touched that. I got to touch my handle, and I'm a fanatic with this stuff, guys. I'm serious. Bear with me, okay? That's all about not cross-contaminating. So let's just do that. So here's some fat here that I don't want on here. I've told you guys in other videos as well that meat is stringy going this way, and anytime you do that, you're going to cut across the stringiness or the grain, okay? So, but for now, I'm just going to trim this excess fat off right here. I'm just going to curve my knife up, and I'm kind of doing this with it like that, so I can just get that off without going into the meat itself, all right? Because we don't need all of that. I don't need to have it render down because I'm just going to trim this. I'm going to braise this meat off, okay? And that's what we're doing here. I don't usually use a big knife to do this. I've got a boning knife as well. But anyway, I just want you to see me taking that excess fat off. And that's what we're doing here. All right. All right. That's good enough. Okay. Again, the grain is running this way, guys. I'll turn it over, and you can see it better too. Maybe I hope you can see the grain is running like that, okay? And I'm going to be cutting this way. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut the whole thing in half. Thusly. All right, because I don't want huge pieces of meat as I do this. So I cut it in half, as you see here. Now I'm going to go this way, across the grain, guys, and and it's going to be pretty thin as well. Okay. Hold a piece of that up so you can see it. That's what it looks like. I don't know whether you can see the thickness of it or not. 1/8 of an inch maybe. And then I'm going to be braising that off. Like I said, I'm not going to bore you with the rest of this process either. I'm just going to go ahead and get it cut up. And we're going to get our oil hot, about 4 tablespoons to start with. And then we're going to braise this off to nice and brown and get it done for you. Okay, so I'll be back in a little bit as we get the rest of this meat sliced up. That we sliced up over there. My oil is nice and hot. I've got about 5 tablespoons of oil in there. And it's hot. Have about 5 tablespoons of oil. Then we're going to go ahead and put this in there. Oops. We'll brown it off, okay? And that's what we're after. Not a big time deal, just to get it brown. I'm not trying to cook it done, but we do want to just get it brown. Nice and brown, okay? And I'm going to be seasoning it in a little bit here too. It's nice and hot, and you want it hot because you want to get that meat brown as quickly as possible as well. Get it out of there because it's going to go back and it's going to go in that gravy we're going to make. And we're going to simmer it, and it'll get even more tenderer, that's a new word, as that process happens, as it simmers. And again, this whole meal probably takes about 45 minutes cooking time. Now you might wonder why I've got 5 tablespoons of oil. I'm going to need that oil, remember, to do the gravy when I put the flour in there, and that's a 50-50 blend for the roux, it's called, if you will, and to make our gravy. So it's not an excessive amount. In fact, if I think it is, once I take this meat out after it's brown, I'll just skim a little bit of it off and I'll go from there. But it's got to be about a 50-50 blend, and you want to cook that flour in that oil and the drippings from this meat here, okay? So let's put some seasoning in there right now too. A little salt, that salt I told you about, and the pepper, coarse ground pepper. Let's just put some salt in there for taste for the moment. And we'll shake some pepper in there as well. Coarse ground black pepper, as I said. And I'll put a little garlic in there as well, okay? This is a very tasty dish, guys. It really doesn't take that long to make it either. So again, just as regular garlic salt. I'm just going to put a little smidget, there's that word again, in there. That's probably a half a teaspoon actually. And that's about all I need of that too. So, as we continue our cooking process here, now there's variations for this too, guys. I mean, you can certainly do a Asian flair with it, and by that I mean some soy sauce and some hoisin sauce, or just Asian stuff. So, as again, soy sauce, some hoisin sauce, oyster sauce, or whatever. If you want to go that route with it, I could have dredged it, and I could have also dredged it for that Asian flair in cornstarch, just for kind of a velvety look and taste of that meat. But we're not going that route. We're going to make some gravy here and simmer it in the gravy, okay? And that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to put a little Worcestershire sauce in there too, to taste. After I shake it up, get the lid off. And again, I'm just to taste. Let's say teaspoon, half. Let's say 2 teaspoons. That's about enough. 2 teaspoons is plenty. Okay, and this will be an ingredient list for you too, guys. So don't worry about it. That's what we're going to do with that process. This is cooking down really well here now, guys. So, again, as soon as that meat gets done, almost done, or it's not going to be completely done, of course, but brown, I should say, I'm going to take it out, and I'll add my flour to my drippings. And I'm going to use some beef stock in here, too. I didn't tell you about that. Don't want to use water. You can. And you can use chicken stock if you've got chicken stock as well. So I'm going to be using some beef stock in here, and I neglected to tell you that, guys, but yes, I'm going to do that for my liquid, okay? That's looking good. I'm going to leave it about a medium high right now. All right, guys, I'm going to start ad-libbing like I normally do when things go not the way I want them to go. This meat has an awful lot of water in it. It's almost like they injected it with water to get the weight. So what I'm going to do here, rather than pulling all that meat out, I'm going to take my flour and I'm going to start integrating it into this process. I think you can see that. I'm going to start integrating it into this process here right now with all the juice that's in there right now. And there's a lot of water in here. Let's just do that, all right? I'm going to put my flour in there. Take this other mitt off here. I'm going to put shake my flour in there. This is 3/4 of a cup, and I'm not going to use all of this, but I just needed to get a measurement, okay? So let's go shake, shake, shake with the flour as I stir. We don't want it to lump up, and it won't as long as you keep stirring. All right. Let's just do that. That's what I'm doing here. I just want to keep it moving. If you don't, it's going to lump up on you. And I got my beef stock, like I indicated to you, which I forgot to tell you about initially. All right. And still, it's looking good. More than one way to skin a cat. I don't know why I said that, but again, I went the other route rather than going with the taking all the meat out and doing the roux. And I'm just putting enough flour in here just by sight for what I'm going to need for gravy to cover the meat and the peppers and the onion. And I think I'm about there with it right now, guys. That flour is cooking on that meat. So I do this. A little bit more. And I think that's about all I need. Okay. Gotta keep stirring it, guys. Don't let it burn because it'll start sticking, which is what it'll do right now if I don't start moving it and getting my beef stock in there, okay? So we're going to be doing that like right now. All right. I've got my beef stock. It's right there. Again, we're going to start pouring that in here and stirring at the same time, guys. I'm probably going to use at least half of this container. And the gravy's going to be nice and smooth. It's not going to be lumpy, guys. Don't worry about it, okay? I'm going to put half of this in there because I know I'm going to need about half of it at least anyway. It's looking good. Not looking good enough to eat because it's not ready yet, as you know. You can see that. Get out of the way so you can see it. Again, you got to keep moving it, guys, like I'm doing, so your gravy will be smooth and not lumpy. And it's nice and smooth right now. It's thick. And I'm going to be thinning it by adding more stock, which is what I need to do anyway. Don't worry about that. You have it to the consistency that you want it when you make yours. Hope you will. And again, it's an easy dish. I'm making it look complicated, but it's not complicated at all. It's not. All right, I'm going to put some more stock in here. And I'm looking for the consistency I'm looking for here now. So far, it's looking good, guys. I don't know whether you can see that or not. The gravy has no lumps in it, guys. I keep saying that because I don't want you to be afraid of doing it the way I just did it. You can do that. Just make sure that you dump it right in there while it's nice and hot. And you're stirring and cooking that flour onto that meat at the same time. That is looking very good, okay? It is. It is. I'm going to do a quick taste for the salt pepper deal. And that's pretty good. I'm going to add a little more salt. Watch your sodium, guys. You don't need a whole lot. A little salt in there, maybe a little more pepper. Okay. I'm going to go with a little kitchen bouquet because I want to darken it up a little bit, like I indicated earlier. Be careful with the kitchen bouquet because if you put too much in, you can't take it out. So we're just going to put a little bit. Let me get out of the way here. We're just going to put a little, let's say, teaspoon. Let's go with a teaspoon, and then I'm probably going to put another teaspoon to get it just to the color that I want it. I'm just going to do that again and again. If you put too much kitchen bouquet and you can't take it out, and you don't want your gravy that dark, but it's got a nice color right now. I'm going to be adding a bit more stock as well. Keeping in mind too, your vegetables have a pretty high quantity of water content. Could have said it that way too, I guess. So again, I don't want to thin it too much because those vegetables are going to leach or let you, how you would say that, water as well. And you don't want to get it too runny once you get it to the consistency you want it. And I just wanted to show you that gravy. If I move some of that meat out of the way, you can see that it looks good. It looks very good, nice and smooth. Now let's put our vegetables in there now, and that'll be the whole lot of them. The onions, green peppers, and red pepper, And I see one that's got a bit of the label on it. I'll get that in there. Okay, we're going to fold this in there. And that's what we're going to do with that. And we're going to let it simmer. And we're going to call it quits on that until we're ready to plate it up. That looked good, guys. I'm telling you, it looks good. I hope you can see that. That was quite simple. I made it look complicated, but it's not. Again, I'm not going to add any more liquid to it right now, because as it simmers, those vegetables are going to expel their water. Never heard that terminology talking about vegetables, but anyway, you know what I mean, guys. So let's just leave that there for now and let it simmer. Yep, I'm going to let it simmer for about 30 minutes, maybe. And we're going to call it quits on that until we're ready to plate it up. So I'll be back with you when it's time to plate this up. It's going to be very, very good, very tasty. And again, it's not a big deal to make this dish. You can make it pretty quick. I made it sound complicated, but I'm going to shut down right now, guys, and I'll be back with you. I'm trying to find my lid here, but I'll be back with you in a little bit. Okay, guys, we're done. It's been 25 minutes simmering here. And my rice that I told you about earlier is in the microwave. That's what's making all the noise in the background. I don't know. I hope you can see this. Yeah, I think you can take a gander at this here. This is looking really good, guys. I don't want to mess up here and have an accident here, so I think you can see it. Yeah, you can see that, okay? And the gravy is nice and smooth, as I indicated earlier as well. So we're going to be moving this to the counter. And the green peppers and the vegetables, I should say, are not al dente. I wasn't looking for that. You could do that if you. All you have to do is put them in much, much later. Okay, if you want to do that. But anyway, this is going to be delicious. So I'm going to move it over. We're going to get it plated up. Okay. All right, guys. We're going to plate this up. The scrumptious dish we got going here. It smells so good. I think I mentioned that I put a sprig, or did I, of thyme in here, and the aromatics made it just smells really, really good. I'll use my spoon. I'm getting fumbling with this ladle here, so let's just do this. Here's my little piece of thyme. There it is. There it is. It'll look good, guys. Looking good. Looking good. Smelling good too, guys. Here it is. Here it is. Can you guys tell I'm a fanatic? Would try to fix the plate up and all that. Look at that rice in the center there, guys. Can you believe it? There we go. My plates are hot. I had my bowls in the oven. I usually do that, heating my plates, guys. I think I've told you that. I know I've told you that before in the process of making hot food hot, staying hot longer. That's what I do. I typically heat my plates in bowls and stuff, and that's what I did here, okay? So I think that's all we're going to put on here for now. And a little bit more right here. It smells good, guys. It's so simple. Took less than an hour to make the whole thing. I hadn't been talking so much that I had it done already. And we're going to clean that up a little bit too, because I can't have that gravy all over the plate. Now can I, guys? And it's going to do that for that, okay? I'm going to put a little sprig of my little thyme over here, just to color it up a little bit. All right. You don't have to do this. Most people don't have thyme just lying around. I had some. And we'll just do that. We'll get a paper towel here. Let's just do that. We'll clean this up a little bit. So here's our scrumptious steak and peppers, or peppers and steak. It turned out really well. It smells absolutely delicious, guys. And I hope if you decide to make this for yourself and your family, that you'll enjoy it as much as we're going to enjoy these dishes tonight as well, okay? So there you have it. And they're both about the same. And again, we're going to enjoy this immensely. So guys, please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate that if you did that, guys. And I'll come back again with you every Thursday with another dish coming up. And hit that like button if you like what you see. And pass this on as you see fit. Again, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to Cooking with Pouncy. I'll see you next time.